Welcome back to Real Gun Adventures. So today I've got something a little bit different. This is a Galaxy G6 Airsoft 1911 pistol. Spring operated, entry level I guess. It's about 15 quid. So why have I got this? Well, I've had a little bit of BB gun fun just recently, and I thought I'd just see what 15 quid buys you in the airsoft world. I've got this from Combat Kit UK, and they seem to be pretty good on price. Service was fantastic. It's not a plug, I'm not being sponsored, that's just where it came from. There's loads of these around, lots of people sell them. Now the nice thing was, this came quickly. They very kindly gave me a big bag of quite good polished BBs. The box does come with some in. Comes in this box, which is quite nice. Comes with a tiny bag of Chinese BBs that I'm going to put straight in the bin. On the back of this box, that's your instruction manual. Now, okay, you don't need to be a genius to work out how to use this. The first thing I noticed with this was that it's mostly metal. This whole top slide, the barrel shroud, it's all made of quite good quality metal. The frame and the grip are polymer, and the magazine is plastic too, but it's weighted. This is a weight, and that gives some balance to the gun. It also makes the magazine eject very easily. Now that might worry people who like to play airsoft games, because if you've got this in the holster and you pull it out, potentially you could press that button and eject your magazine, but that isn't the case. That button is quite heavily spring loaded, so it takes a little bit to push that down, so I don't think you could accidentally eject the magazine. I could be wrong. Because it's a budget pistol, it's got everything it should have, so you can see where you would push through to disengage the stripping lever there, and you can see the magazine release lever on the back. You can see the hammer, you can see the rear grip safety. All of that is non-functional, that's all for show, but it's actually done really well, and you wouldn't know at a cursory glance. You'd have to actually try to operate it to find out it doesn't work. The only thing that does work is the magazine release. Other than that, it's all for show. Now, the first thing I do when I get anything like this is I give it a shake, and that surprised me. It doesn't rattle at all. Now, put the magazine back in, and it's a hefty magazine made of plastic. It does have a slight, really go for it, you can get a rattle out of it. Now, comparing that to at least one of the 160 quid plus replica air pistols that I've reviewed recently, that's a vast improvement. Now, I like that about it. The other thing I like is the frame and the pistol grip and the trigger guard and the skeleton trigger are all current model Colt 1911. That's more like the close quarters battle pistol that's used by the Marines today. The top slide isn't, that's much more traditional, more like the originals, but it gives this gun quite a nice modern look and feel. It is a low power blinker. It's for knocking over plastic cups and punching holes in paper. You could run around in a muddy field dressed up as a soldier, using this as a sidearm in case everything else goes wrong. It would get you out of trouble. It wouldn't get you out of trouble in any other situation, it would only get you into trouble. It is quite realistic in its sort of form and figure. It's nice looking. It's a nice looking gun. The gold against the black looks pretty good. It's not my cup of tea, but it does look pretty good. And if you've got 15 or 20 quid and you want to get into shooting at paper cups or a bit of target practice, then this will do it. Also in the winter, it's raining outside today, so I thought I'd pick on this. Turned up this morning, let's have a little go and just see how good or bad it is. Now, I've not used the supplied BBs, I've used the ones that Combat Kit gave me, because I could see immediately they were far superior. I have got some, but they're probably 20 years old, so it's better not to use those either. In my youth, I was quite into these kind of things. When I say that, I'm talking about the probably early 1990s. Me and some friends had these, and there was no such thing as skirmishing and airsoft groups then. So we used to descend on my flat, turn the furniture upside down, and run around like loonies, shooting each other in the arse. Happy times. Grew out of that, oddly enough. But the pistol that I had back then wasn't dissimilar to this. It was spring operated. It was expensive. It was called a heavyweight. It was based on a Smith & Wesson. It was no more accurate, no more powerful, and didn't look any better. Nothing worked on it either. That cost me quite a lot of money. This didn't. So this is a cheap, entry-level pile of fun, really. So if it's fun you're after, and tin cans and targets, if you're into airsoft and you want something cheap to pop in a holster on your belt and not worry about too much, then this will do. It's not got any real range to it. I've had a quick go at 10 yards, and actually the target's just there. Bear in mind, this isn't really my bag, so I thought I'd have a go. They're fixed open sights, and I blasted the middle out the target. I don't know how many I put in there, it's 2 magazines, couldn't stop. But the actual sights are fixed open sights. The rear sight, see that there? It's got quite a nice tight aperture, which I like. The foresight is black, so it's a contrast against the gold of the paintwork. It's not bad at all. In fact, it's better than one of the more expensive replica guns I recently reviewed, which you could drive a bus through. I found it quite good to fire. The trigger itself is plastic, but it's got a texture to it to give you some grip. Now the trigger pivots at the top, so it swings back. So unlike the Colt 1911, which moves backwards and the top stays perpendicular, this one just swings, but works perfectly. Now, when it's loaded, trigger's completely stiff. Single stage trigger, and actually I'll do it that way. I'm just going to give that a little squeeze. Hardly any travel at all. So it's quite a good trigger. Now when it isn't cocked, there's a little bit of play in that trigger. Not a huge amount, but just enough to wind me up. But of course that's because once it's racked, everything's under tension, it's nice and firm. Now oddly, when it's racked, it rattles because the spring is under tension and all this stuff is a bit looser. Once it's fired, it's all nice and tight again. None of that is a problem. None of that really worries me. For what I pay for this and for what I'm going to use it for, and what I'm going to use it for is to take it apart and play with it. But, you know, this 15 quid airsoft pistol fires BBs, looks quite good. It's not difficult to use. You don't need an instruction manual. I did have a BB jam earlier, but it cleared. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually shoot in real time. Well, we'll do, I'll put 10 or 12 in, and we'll put all those into a target. Because I've only had a little go with this, and we'll see what I get. I don't think it's going to be too bad. I would hope it will be a little bit better than that, but it probably won't be. You do get the odd one. Plastic BBs tend to sort of meander around if you go over any distance. So there's going to be the odd one that might not make it to the target. Got my hat on just in case it comes back and bop me on the head, and I'm going to put my goggles on, so I don't want anything in the eye. Over the years I've had a few lucky escapes. I had a few fat lips from these as well when I was a youngster. And a friend of mine had a chipped tooth. So we're going to avoid all that, kit up properly, and do some shooting. So if you hang on, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Time for a quick roundup. Well, it was fun. It's not the most accurate pistol in the world, but it's pretty good, and I think I could get better with it with a bit of practice. I would say it's firing a little bit low. That might be me. I haven't quite mastered these sights yet, and I think if I'm going to keep this in one piece and use it, I'll put a little bit of white paint, a little dot on there, just to make that a bit easier to line up. Yeah, the only thing I would say is that it's, well, I can't really pick holes in it. I was going to say it's, you know, it's a lightweight cheap gun, it's a toy. It isn't. It's a viable plinking pistol. You can hit pretty much anything you aim at most of the time. It's fairly quiet. It's really easy to shoot. I'm not letting my kids anywhere near this because I'll be covered in bruises. But that side, you could teach a youngster the principles of shooting and how to respect their equipment. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's alright for 20 quid. I will strip this down because I can't resist. There's only 4 screws and 1 Allen bolt, and I can get inside there and see what's going on. I'm not going to be particularly impressed with the way it's made, I don't suppose, but I've got £150 new pistols that I've not been impressed with. This looks like fun. It's not expensive, very affordable. It will get you into the hobby or the sport. If you're into airsoft, then it's almost a throwaway sidearm for that kind of money. I would say if you do go down this route, get some good BBs. Don't buy the cheap ones because they jam and they shatter and it cause you all kinds of problems. I've had one ricochet, which is over there somewhere. Actually, I think what happened was there was one sat in the target because the target's full of jiffy bags to obviously stop them bouncing around. There was one just sat there. The second one hit it, went in the same hole and bounced back, which is another testament to its accuracy on a good day. Anyway, that's it for now. Please like and subscribe. A big thank you to all those who have liked and subscribed. It's much appreciated. I'll see you all again soon. It's a horrible rainy day and I just thought, let's have a little go with a bit of airsoft. Anyway, see you soon. Bye for now.